Yes, Sinwar's house has been encircled or surrounded, I guess. Um, and it's interesting because he doesn't live there any longer. In fact, it's not clear where he is, whether he's in the tunnels beneath that same city, beneath Khan Yunis, if he's moving around uh, amongst all the subterranean city there, or if he's actually out in Egypt or beneath the Sinai in tunnels there. It's not known where he is, but this is a symbolic statement, I guess, from the Israeli military to the Hamas military wing. Excuse me. We have you in our gun sights. We know where you live, even if you're not living there any longer. And it's part of this 24 to 36 hours now when both sides, the Hamas military and Israel's defense forces, say it's been the most intensive fighting in three sites in Gaza for this whole 61-day conflict.
Yeah, it's a recorded video statement. He says Netanyahu saying he can escape, but it's only a matter of time before we get him. The Israeli Prime Minister, who is due to chair a cabinet meeting.
Yes, he is chairing a cabinet meeting. That's the wider cabinet, not the war cabinet. And I think that's significant. From what I understand, this is looking at the question of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. This right-wing government has said all along that humanitarian aid should not be allowed in until the Israeli hostages being held, are either visited by the Red Cross and or released. So first the visit and then the release, and otherwise no humanitarian gestures. But there's been huge pressure on the government, on Israel's government by Washington. And Benjamin Netanyahu, it seems, didn't want to make that decision by himself, didn't want the war cabinet to make it. He wanted authorization from the whole cabinet on the grounds that if they do this, then they will have what they call more credit to actually fight the fight with Hamas while taking care of the civilians.
Yeah, the wider cabinet, which is more to the right than that closer, smaller war cabinet that you describe.
Yes, you see, this is the issue. It's a very right-wing government. I have actually heard analysts, including right-wing analysts, saying that if the centrist party hadn't joined this government now for the duration of the war, that perhaps the hostages wouldn't have been released. Not even all the parties within the government wanted to vote to approve the hostage release. They are far right. They want a military solution. And they were not going to approve this without the pressure, I don't think, both from the families, but also from the centrist members of this newly expanded war cabinet. So yes, it's a right-wing government, a far-right government in many instances. The two parties are very far-right and maybe, left to themselves, they wouldn't actually approve this. It's not a done deal, in fact. But I think the pressure from Washington is now really being felt, and that's why Netanyahu is kicking the ball further down the track.
Well, the pressure from Washington is not just about the Gaza Strip. We had on Tuesday the announcement that there'd be visa bans for extremist settlers in the West Bank, Jewish settlers who've been coveting Palestinian land ever since October 7th in bigger numbers than before, say, human rights activists.
Yes, there's been a lot of violence between right-wing settlers and Palestinians, over I was going to say over the olive harvest, but not only. Some some Palestinians, villagers have been leaving their homes. I don't know if it's permanent, but they're packing up because they can't deal with the violence. You might say it's a small group, but it's a powerful group, and the attention is elsewhere. And that's why I think they feel they have the potential and the power to do this at this moment when the focus is on Gaza and on the fighting in Lebanon. Yeah, I'll leave that for you to follow up if you're interested.